Welcome to this tutorial where we take a look on how we can verify an SD-JWT VC credential via OID4VP version 1 from a wallet to a verifier. Now, we will be using for this tutorial the Verifier API by walt.id from the community stack, which is our open source tooling. For the wallet, we will be using the Wallet API version 2, also from the walt.id community stack. Now, the first thing we have to do is bring up the stack locally. The best way to do so is to clone our walt.id identity repository into your local environment. I've already done that, and I already cd'd into the Docker Compose folder. And so what I can now do is simply run docker compose up, which will bring up all of the walt.id community stack services, including the Verifier 2 as well as the Wallet 2 API. With this, we have our setup step done. The next thing is that we need a wallet with SD-JWT VC credential in it, which we can then request from the verifier side. Now, when we quickly switch here directly to the wallet, which is now running until localhost 7006 after bringing up the stack with the Docker Compose, I previously already created a wallet. And we can see when we go quickly here to list all of the credentials in the wallet, that I already have one SD-JWT VC credential in the wallet. Now, when we quickly take a look at this specific credential, we can see this is an SD-JWT VC. We can see here it has one disclosure option, birth date, which will become relevant later in the tutorial. And we can see here all of the different credential data attributes of that particular credential. And most importantly, we can also see here the VCT value of this credential, which is the unique credential type of this credential, which we will need when we then craft our verification request from the verifier side. So I will copy this directly. And when we go back to our tutorial, so we have our Verifier API up and running. We have our test wallet with a credential. Now this we don't need as we are using the Docker Compose and all of the internal services can communicate here with each other. And so we can move on to our verification. Now for the verification, I will now simply copy here this body. I will go to the verifier, which is running on localhost 7004, and we will use the verification session create endpoint. Now here, particularly in the body, I will provide what I just copied. Now here, first of all, we specify the flow type. We here use simply cross device. And then here, we will specify our DCQL query. Now the DCQL query basically describes to the wallet which type of credential the verifier is requesting. And so here we need to specify our own custom ID, the format of the credential we are requesting, which is an SD-JWT VC, and then the VCT value, which we just copied out from our credential in the wallet. So I will provide here this VCT value. And with this, I can execute and I will get back an authorization request based on the OID4VP version 1 standard. Now, I will use this request now with the wallet to present the credential. So now back in our wallet, I will go to the present endpoint. I will provide here my request, provide my wallet ID, and we see, okay, the request has been fulfilled and the credential has been sent to the verifier. Now on the verifier side, what we can now do is take a look at the session and see the results. So we can go here to the info endpoint, provide the verification session ID. And here we can see that the credential presentation was successful, which means the wallet actually presented the credential we requested, and all of the different policies of the verifier that were applied to the received credential from the wallet did succeed. Now, if we go back quickly here to our creation of the session, we didn't really specify any particular policies. Now, by default, the verifier applies the signature policy, which we will see when we go back here into the details view and we scroll down to the policy section. We see here that the signature policy has been applied and it was a success. Now, with the verifier, there are various different types of policies available. And so we can use them, like for example, the expiration policy, the not before policy, the schema policy, and specify those policies in our request. So here we can specify various different types of policies depending on what we want and need to check directly. For example, also on the revocation status if the credential has revocation information in it. Now, in the beginning, I have said when we looked at the credential here in the wallet that there is a selectively disclosable field, birth date. Now this, as we in the verification request, like here in our DCQL query, didn't specify that we need this attribute, it wasn't revealed by the wallet. And so when we look at here and search for birthday, there's nothing there. So it wasn't really presented by the wallet. But we can also request it from the verifier. Now, when you're working with the verifier and you need to draft those DCQL queries, you can also use the DCQL builder by walt.id by simply going to dcql.walt.id. And here we can specify basically with a UI our credential request. We can select the format, we can specify the VCT value, which is the one which we copied earlier, and we can request specific claims. Like for example here, I can now request this disclosure field birth date by simply providing it here, which creates this DCQL query. So we can copy this out right here and then provide it here as our DCQL query, creating our authorization request URL, which we then take and go to the wallet and present the credential. So it has been presented, and when we go back to the verifier again and check now the results here, and we search now for birth date, we can see that this has now been provided by the wallet. So that the selectively disclosable field has been disclosed. Now you have seen how we can request a SD-JWT VC directly from the wallet. We've also taken a look at the policies, which you can use to customize what will be checked on the received credential. And we've also seen how you can request a specific data attribute using the DCQL query, which is selectively disclosable. If you enjoy our tools, please leave us a star on GitHub. And with that said, happy building and see you next time.